Hi, I'm Sherry Buckner with Grace Monroe Home and Design with the Pros, and today we are going to make a fun pumpkin mesh wreath. So let's get started. I'm going to show you what we're going to be using. First, we're going to need a 14-inch grapevine wreath, a roll of 10-inch mesh, and this actually came from Hobby Lobby. You are going to need either pipe cleaners, zip ties, or floral wire, and for mine I'm going to be using floral wire, and because of that I'm going to need my wire cutters and scissors, and then a bush of leaves. These came from Walmart, so any kind of glittered leaves will work. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is roll out some of my mesh. I'm going to take the piece that is started here, and I want to just bunch it up in my hand so that I've got about an inch of it right here. Now I've already cut, since I'm using floral wire, I've already cut a pretty long piece of my wire, and I'm going to start on the side of my grapevine. The first thing I did though was I looked at my grapevine wreath to see where I felt like the top of my pumpkin needed to be. So just kind of turn it until you see where you want your pumpkin to start. Now, I'm going to start over here on the side by just pushing my wire through the grapevine, just like this. And then I'm just going to take this bunch that I've got, and I'm going to just twist my wire around it, just like that. Now, like I said, I am using a long piece, and the reason I do that is because I don't have to keep stopping. I can just cut it off right there, and then I've still got another long piece to use. So once I've done that, then I want to come down the side of my grapevine just like this, and I'm going to go down just to about, I would say that's about 10 inches down the grapevine. I don't want to go all the way to the middle, so I'm just taking, I bunch it up just like this, and I'm going to come around the side of my grapevine, and then I'm just going to wire it again right there by just pushing my wire. Now if you're using a pipe cleaner, you would do the same thing, just push it through and then just twist several times just like this, and then I'm just cutting that off. Okay, now I'm going to go back up to the top again, and I'm going to do the same thing, just wire it up here at the top. I just push my wire in, and this is going to overlap the first one that I did because we needed that one to be on the side. So this one I will show you up close in just a second. Let me just get this wired on just like that. So up close, I put this one first over to the side because you don't want your side showing, and then this one, when I come back up, I just kind of go cross over on top of this one just a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to go back down to the bottom. Now this time we're going to go all the way down to the very bottom of the wreath, and I'm going to just put my wire through the grapevine, and then I'm just going to twist again. I love doing these on the grapevine. It means that I don't have to use quite as much mesh, and I think it just gives it such a natural look by using it on the grapevine like this. Okay, and I'm just going to keep doing this. So I'm going to come back up just like this to the top. And again, this time I want to come all the way to the very top, put my wire through, and twist my wire just like that. Okay. And now as you go, you can arrange your mesh so that it's all coming out just like you want it to. Now I'm going to need another piece of wire, so I'm going to cut another long piece. That way I don't have to stop and cut it very often. Uh-oh, that one came loose, so let's just wire this one more time. And that will happen if you don't get through the grapevine really good. So just make sure to twist it really good several times. 3 or 4 times would be good to make sure it's going to hold if you're using the floral wire. Okay. So now I'm going to come straight down again, all the way down here to the bottom. I'm going to put my floral wire through my grapevine. And then I'm just going to twist. You want to keep the mesh pretty tight. It doesn't have to be you know, really tight, but you do want to keep it pulled fairly tight so that you don't have any gaps through there. So just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to come all the way back up to the top. And put the wire through my grapevine just like this and twist. And we're going to continue to do that the whole wreath. So I've already finished my first layer with my mesh, but I still have some left over here. So, and make sure when you do the side that you do it just like you did the first side. Okay, and then it's going to be right here. I've still got some mesh left, so instead of cutting it, I'm just going to go back over. But I'm going to come up just a little bit higher on the grapevine. So it's going to be more, I've wired these on a little closer to the front. These I'm going to wire a little further back just to cover up more of the grapevine. But I'm doing them exactly the same. And even if I don't have enough to do the whole wreath again with a second layer, I can just spread it out to give it fullness. So I've done that, and now I'm just going to come back down to the bottom and I'm just straightening out my mesh, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to go just a little bit further back with this to wire it to the grapevine. And like I said, that is just to make sure that it's covered good. Sometimes it is hard to get the wire through, but just keep working at it and you will get it through. So I'm just twisting my wire, and then I just cut it off. Okay, now I'm gonna go back down to the bottom. And I'm not going, because I know that I'm going to run out, I'm kind of skipping and making my gaps in between a little wider for these, because since the grapevine is already covered, I don't have to do them exactly the same. But again, I'm going a little further back on my grapevine wreath to wire it, just like that. Of wire. Now I'm going to go back up to the top. And I'm wiring this further back, just like I did the last one. And then back down. And you basically want to keep doing this until you use up your roll of mesh. That's just going to make it thicker. And I'm just going to cut this piece of grapevine off since it's in the way. I'm going to go ahead and roll off my mesh off of my little roll there. I'm going to come back around to the bottom. This is going to be the side, so I'm going to make sure to come back over top of it just like this. And I'm coming down even further on my grapevine on the side just to make sure that it holds well. Now, since I've gone over the whole thing, now since I've already wired my last piece, I'm just going to cut, and I'm going to leave about 1 inch right there. Okay, so this is where we're at. Now we want to decorate our pumpkin. So I'm going to just hand tie a little bow, to put on the top, and I've got a little pipe cleaner that I'm going to use. So I want this to be my tail, and I want my tails to kind of come down. So I'm going to make this one, I would say that's probably about maybe 16 inches. And then I'm just going to pinch it together like this. And then I'm just going to make a loop. I'd say about a 6-inch loop. And then I'm going to twist my ribbon and make another loop. And we have an actual video showing you how to do this a lot more closely, so you can see exactly how to make the bow. So I'm just going to keep making loops and keep pinching them together until I get the size that I want. Or I run out of hand, either way. Let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's the size I think that I want. So I'm just going to make sure to keep it pinched and just put my pipe cleaner around where I was pinching everything. Just like that. I'm going to bend all of my loops forward like this, and then just going to twist my pipe cleaner. Just like that. And then I want my tails to be about the same. So this piece that's left that is still on the roll, I'm just going to measure with the one that I already made and then just cut it about the same length. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want them close. Then I'm just going to dovetail the ends by folding them over and then just cutting up just like that, and then that's going to dovetail my ends. And then I just want to fluff out my ribbons. Now I'm going to have leaves and all kinds of things through this, so I wanted it to kind of be a little bit of a floppy bow so that we can put some of our leaves throughout the bow. And then I'm just going to attach it right here. I can still get to the grapevine, so I'm just going to push it straight through to the grapevine. You may have to move it around. Sorry, dropped my boat. You may have to move it around just a little bit here to find the grapevine, but then just push it straight through. And then just tie it on. Now you could actually just do a bow on it and leave it if you wanted to, but I want to do some leaves throughout my bow. So I am going to use my glue skillet. Now you can use a glue gun. I forgot to mention earlier that you will need a glue skillet or glue gun for this, but I'm going to be using my glue skillet, and I'm just going to take some of my leaves. I leave probably about 4 inches on my stem, and then I'm just going to poke it right through the grapevine and the mesh. Make sure to get through the grapevine so it holds well for you, just like this. And then I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. And you could certainly decorate this with flowers or with anything that you wanted to. Put some behind the bow so that all of my loops stand up like I want them to. So I'm going to come over behind it and just push it through. Just like that. I think I want some more going at the bottom of my bow. Oh, that's got the tag on it, so let's take that off. And I'm just going to lift up my bow just like that and just push this through. And then I'm going to kind of pull it up and bend my stem up so that I've got it running through my leaves, just like that. I mean, through my loops, just like that. Now, for my ends, I did make them fairly long, but that was because I want to curl them. So to curl these, I'm just going to twist them around, but you don't want to do it tight. And this is wired ribbon I'm using. You always need to use wired ribbon, and that way it will hold its shape however you want to twist it, just like this. You can make these just as tight as you want them to be, or loose, whatever you want to do. Or you could leave them straight if you wanted to. But I like them twisted, so I am going to curl them just like that. So here is your finished mesh pumpkin wreath. Isn't that cute? And you could do any color. You could do you know, any color mesh that you wanted. You could add flowers throughout here, anything that you wanted to do to make it yours. But it is so cute and so easy. And for other DIY tutorials and easy things like this, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so that you get notified when we do new tutorials. And make sure to check out our blog at www.gracemonroehome.com. Thanks.